Hey, Magic fans, welcome back. Kamigawa Leaks Part 5. Here we go. This is your captain speaking here on Capnclyde's MTG. Remember to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, comments down below, help feed the YouTube algorithm. We're on our way to 1,000 subscribers, so please share the channel as much as you can. I appreciate the support. And as always, if you've done everything you can to support the channel and you want to do more, remember the box opening series for the Kamigawa is getting ready to come out, and all my box opening series cards go on the link in the description at the eBay store for sale, so you can get cards straight off the channel, straight out of the pack. You know they're fresh, you know they're real, and you can get them seen open live on the channel. So, without further ado, let's take a look. We got quite a few cards to cover today, so the trade tables and seat backs in a full upright position, boys and girls. And let's start looking at the next series of leaks. First, we have Story Weave, green and 2 colorless. It's an instant. You get to choose one. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature you control, or put 2 lore counters on a target saga you control. Next time one or more enchantment creatures enter the battlefield under your control this turn, each enter with 2 additional +1/+1 counters on it. So this isn't bad. It's probably only going to ever see any play, maybe. Excuse me. Uh, Maybe in standard if all this lore counter stuff is worth a dang, because 3 mana is a lot. So it's probably going to be pretty good, honestly, with the limited format since there's so many lore stuff going on with the sagas and so forth. But we'll have to wait and see. But I really don't see this doing anything except for limited play, but still looks pretty sweet. Moving right along. Next we have Jangos Uprising. So for red, white, red, and X, create 2 XX. Oh, this is one we already covered, right? So this is the basically I make enough stuff that I can kill you in one turn, and I'll give you a bunch of stuff to block with, but it doesn't matter because my stuff has menace and haste, so you can't swing back. And plus my stuff has vigilance, so it doesn't matter. So yeah, this is going to be something that probably shapes the standard format, and there will be a deck around this, but it's only going to be in standard. Of course, it's a limited all-star because late game this is just bonanzas. And I definitely think Commander's going to want to play it, so it's probably going to be about a $2 to $3 rare, I'd say at best. Just personal opinion. Moving right along, we have the Fall of Lord Conda. So we have a white and 3 for a saga. It says exile target creature an opponent controls with mana value 4 or greater, so that's already pretty good. Then each player gains control of all permanents they own. Alright, so that's not too bad in case somebody's stealing your stuff. And then once you exile it, it comes back in as a 1/3 defending wall that says when it dies, you draw a card. Not a bad uncommon. Definitely going to be really good in limited. There may be a place for this in standard, but maybe not a big one. Pioneer and those other formats like that may sideboard this if there's a lot of stuff that wants to steal your. There's several cards that like to steal your things in those combo decks, which will make this actually very valuable. Um, but sideboard only, so probably pretty good in limited because it is removal. It does make a creature to block with. It lets you draw a card. Limited standard, sideboard only, and everything else. Probably gonna be okay in Commander. Moving right along, next we have Light of the Way. So 1 white, you get to choose one, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature or vehicle and untap it, and return target permanent you control to owner's hand. Basic common combat trick. It's going to be great and limited. Probably the only place it's going to see any action, though. Just going to be honest. So moving right along. We have the Enormous Energy Blade. I love the title on this thing. 1 black and 2 colorless for equipment. Equipped creature gets +4/+0. Whenever Enormous Energy Blade becomes attached to a creature, tap that creature. Oh my god, this thing is hilarious. Oh, so this is just awful. I doubt this even sees limited play, but this is so funny I can't help myself. I love it. Yeah, I don't see this going anywhere. Maybe a commander deck or some silly shenanigans. Um, yeah, this is just funny. Oh god, that's funny. Moving right along. Next, we have the restoration of Iiganjo. So for this rare is a white and 3 again. Search your library for a basic plains card, put it into your hand. That's already pretty good. You may discard a card. When you do, return target permanent card, mana value 2 or less, from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. That is pretty sweet. And since you get a land, you can basically fetch a land out of your deck and then trade it for whatever's in the graveyard. So that's nice. When it hits 3, it becomes into play as a 3/4 Vigilance. Whenever the Architect of Restoration attacks or blocks, create a 1/1 colorless spirit creature token. That's really powerful. This is going to be really good in Standard, great in Limited. This may even see some play outside of that, especially Commander, just because the ability to make 1/1 tokens when you swing or block, like, that's just insane. So I'll look for this to be about a $5 rare. If White's got some things going on, this might be a good way to get some shenanigans going. Um, yeah, I think it's gonna be a good card. We'll have to wait and see though. If it was just a little less than 3. But anyway, so here we have an uncommon, a white and 2 for a 3/2. It says Naoki Yuxai, the poet, Vigilance Human Samurai. Yes, I butchered the name, that's why I skipped past it. Whenever a samurai warrior you control attacks alone, you may cast target enchantment card from your graveyard this turn. Probably going to be really good in the Standard, great and Limited. There's so many enchantments that lock things down, plus all the sagas. This may even become playable in Pioneerish style formats, but Modern and back, probably not. Commander probably like it. Decent uncommon. Great art. I love the art. Next we have Reality Heist. So, 2 blue and 5. Instant. That's 1 less to cast for each artifact you control. Okay. Look at the top 7 cards of your library. You may reveal up to 2 artifact cards from among them, put them into your hand, put the rest in the bottom of your library in random order. So right off the bat, this is okay. I still would play Deluge, honestly, but I could see where this would be better. Like, this might be one that makes its way into Modern, or Pioneer for Affinity decks, because you can easily have 5 artifact things in play that will make this cost 2 blue to basically draw 2 of the top 7 cards of your library. Maybe good in Standard. I doubt it's going to be good in Limited because you're not going to get that many artifacts, but maybe. I really look at this to be part of a combo deck that has artifacts like Affinity or something like that. Hammer Time, whatever the case may be. So I think it will see play in older formats more than it will in the newer ones. And of course, this is always something Commander can get some shenanigans going with. So moving right along. All right, we have Brilliant Restoration. All right, so 4 white and 3. Return all artifacts. I think we're going to look at this one. Return all artifacts and enchantment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. 7 mana is a lot. Still don't think it's enough because this is just going to be busted. This is probably not going to see anything in Standard unless there becomes a real heavy artifact deck with just a lot of stuff that just does board wipe and then get all your stuff back and just does more board wipes. Might be a pretty cool Commander card. Good old Jocko Hop's always pretty cool. Especially when he's getting all your stuff back. Don't know how I feel about it. I think it's probably going to only be a $2 bulk rare and be in some fringe decks. Won't be in Limited. It costs way too much. I probably won't see Standard either. So, Alright, so Hagitsu Consumes All. Now, I looked at this one before we got started, and I have high hopes for this as a mythic. A red, black, and 1. It says destroy each non-land permanent with mana value 1 or less. This is a black token destroy board wipe kind of card, which 3 mana is enough to maybe even post it into Modern to get rid of a lot of their stuff. I mean, it gets rid of tokens. It gets rid of the big hammer, all the 1-drops, like Death Shadow, like you name it. This has lots of legs, guys. Plus, after that, the second one, it exiles all the graveyards, so any graveyard shenanigans, it also takes care of that. And then when it flips, it comes back as a 3/3 Trampler. It says, whenever it deals combat damage, put a +1/+1 counter on it. When a vessel, all-consuming, deals damage to a player, if it has dealt 10 or more damage to that player this turn, they lose the game. This is going to be a deck in Standard, and probably other formats as well, just because it just does so much. This is easily going to be 10, 20. This might push $30 if it gets out of hand, depending on how good this card could be. Because in Standard, I mean, it's going to be hard to deal with this. If this thing hits you, you hit somebody once, that's 3, because counter is 4. You hit somebody with this thing 3 times, they lose the game. I mean, they'll be dead from damage anyway. But still, just the fact that it can actually counteract any life gain decks, like, ooh. Commander's gonna love it because it says, you know, to that player. So like, yeah, I think this is gonna be a very high dollar mythic. In my personal opinion, it's gonna definitely see play in limited. It's gonna be people gonna make decks and standard around this. Hell, I'm gonna make a deck and standard around this just to try. Um, and then not just that, like it's 3 mana is low enough and it does enough for it to actually play in modern, pioneer, like all the formats are this is easily playable in all the formats. So I have very high hopes. If this isn't the sleeper card of the format or the all star, you know, either it's gonna come out swinging or it's not be like not used until someone figures out how to break it. But this is I think is going to be the card of the format from what I've seen right now. This is my probably one of my number one picks. All right, moving along. All right, we have Tribute to Horbor, a black and one. Each opponent creates a 1/1 black rat rogue creature token. Each opponent for the first two, okay, and then you exile it. It comes back as a 3/3 flying haste. When it enters the battlefield, get control of all rat tokens. When it attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, draw a card. This is weird. Um, I mean, this could be great in an aggro deck. I mean, yeah, you're gonna give them a rat and then give them another rat, but like you get those back if they don't kill them themselves. Plus the ability to sack a creature and draw a card with no drawback other than just sacking your creature, which could easily be with a rat token. It comes in with haste. It has flying. It only costs 2. Like the only thing that's gonna drag this down is if aggro becomes real big in standard. This will be unplayable because you won't be able to. You can't win the damage race by giving your your opponent creatures. That's just not how that goes down. But I definitely see this seeing possible standard play. Definitely maybe even modern because 2 is cheap and it draws cards. Definite pioneer brawl style uh, places. Plus definitely in commander because it says here, you know, gain control of all rat tokens. If your opponent's making rat tokens, like, you know, if he's playing a rat deck and he's using things to make rat tokens, it's just they're a rat token. You get them all. So yeah, like I could definitely see this being a thing. Limited probably okay, as long as you got some things to block with to get so you can get your rats back. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go with like a $1, $2 rare. It's gonna see niche play here and there, um, but it will be a big star in standard if aggro is not the way to go. Which normally in standard there's always this aggro deck that keeps you in check, which means you can't play this card. But you never know. We'll have to wait and see. So moving right along. Next here we have Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Good old Kiki Jiki. So for a red and 3, it comes into play. It says create a 2/2 red goblin shaman creature token with whenever this creature attacks, create a treasure token. Okay, that's not terrible. For 2, you may discard up to 2 cards. If you do, draw that many. Okay, that's pretty sweet. Then you exile it, comes back as a 2/2 goblin shaman, and it says 1 tap, create a token that's a copy of another non-legendary creature you control, except it has haste, sacrifice at the end of the next end step. So basically it's Kiki Jiki, but it takes some mana so you can't go infinite with it. Unless you can find something that lets you get mana when stuff comes into play or some silly shenanigans. Um, yeah, so it's basically a fixed Kiki Jiki. I have high hopes for this. I see lots of shenanigans going down. Definitely limited format all star, maybe even really good in standard. It'll definitely see play in Pioneer. Someone's gonna give it a whirl. I don't think it'll be in Modern because of the drawback. You just play a Kiki Jiki. But who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Probably a couple dollar rare, I'd say, to begin with. Moving right along, we have Invoke Justice. So this is the white Invoke of the Invoke series. So as usual, it's 4 of a color, which is 4 white and 1, so it's 5. Return target permanent card from your graveyard to the battlefield, then distribute 4+1/+1 counters among any number of creatures and or vehicle target player controls. So basically a resurrection for 5 instead of 4, and it's a sorcery, so it's just worse. I mean, it might see play in standard just because we don't have these kind of effects in standard for white right now, but 4 white's steep. Um, we'll have to wait and see. Uh, might be possible. I mean, it might be a good way to, you know, if you have a way to throw vehicles into your graveyard that are just monstrous, you can jerk them out with this, and they become even more monstrous. So I'm gonna say $1 rare at best until someone figures out how to break it. And the only place it's probably going to see play is standard. Might see play in limited, but I mean 4 whites asking a lot. So moving right along, Commander will play it. In case you guys didn't know that. Born to Drive. So white and 2, we have an enchantment aura. It says enchant artifact or creature as long as enchanted permanent is a creature. It gets +1/+1 for each creature and or vehicle you control. So it's almost like Inferior Armor, except it's for enchantments. So it's for creatures or vehicles. You can channel it to discard Born to Drive to create 2 1/1 colorless pilot creature tokens with this creature crews vehicles as though it was power 2 or greater. So this is a great uncommon. And the reason I say that is because for 3 mana you can get enough to crew something up to 6. That's a lot. This will definitely see play in standard and commander and limited, as vehicles and enchantments and things like that seem to be a big thing in this environment. So yeah, this is going to be a highly played card. Other than that, probably won't see a whole lot of play though. Alright, next moving along, we have this beauty. Check this out. That is a sweet looking land. Ottawa Heavenly City, legendary land. It's a blue, doesn't come to play tapped. Gotta love it. So this one, when it channels, it says discard the city, return target artifact, creature, enchantment, or planeswalker to its owner's hand. Wow, ability costs 1 less to activate for each legendary creature you control. That is really sweet, guys. That's everything but a land, instant, or sorcery. I think this is going to see some play. This is definitely a commander card. This is might even see standard play. It's going to be pretty good in limited. I think this might easily be a $5 to $10 land. It's got some really cool channel abilities. So, alright, moving right along. Next we have Striding Skyscraper. Boy, look at that. That doesn't remind you of a movie I can't mention for copyright infringement. Anyway, for 8, you get an 8/8. It's an artifact creature construct. It costs 1 less to cast for each modified creature you control. It has trample. And it has hexproof as long as it's untapped. Boy, that is scary. Obviously, it's going to be good and limited because this thing is huge. It probably won't see standard play or anything else for that matter, unless you're playing that white invoke. You know, you're going to throw this in the graveyard, then pull it out of the graveyard and throw it in play and start to beat down plan. But with lots of all the removal there is, that's pretty much universal. I don't see this being a viable strategy. So, moving right along. Alright, we have Rise Infiltrator, a black and 1 for a 1/2 flyer. For a black and 3, it gets +2/+2 to enter turn. So that's going to be a great common to fill that small slot in the draft format and in limited. But other than that, this is not going to see play outside of any of that stuff. It's just not good enough. Moving right along. Alright, we have Mech Titan Core. Oh boy. Boy, I got some things to say about this when I read it. Alright, 2 colorless for a 2/4. It's a vehicle, it's rare. For 5, you can exile the core and 4 other artifact creatures and or vehicles you control. Create Mech Titan, a legendary 10/10 construct artifact creature token with flying, vigilance, trample, lifelink, and haste. So it's got Flample Vigilink haste. Or haste of Flample link. Haste has to Flample. Has to Flam Vigilink. Has to Flample Vig. Has to Flample Vig. I don't know. Anyway, when that token leaves the battlefield, return all cards exiled with Mech Titan Core, except Mech Titan Core, to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. This thing takes 2 to crew. So, I'll give you my thoughts on this. You're basically busting out a Gundam on somebody. Or, as I like to call, Voltron. So, yeah, this is basically assembling Voltron. Is this going to see play in standard? Yes. Will it be good? I don't know. I just know that I'm probably going to try it just because I'm that guy. It will definitely make for a very interesting new commander deck that you can Voltron up with. You used to be able to do Voltron up with the old cards from Alliances. That used to be the old Voltron deck. Now this is a whole new meaning to Voltron. This is just amazing. And you get the stuff back too. Like only the token, only this dies, not all the other stuff. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, it ought to make some very funny shenanigan style games, which hopefully don't break the format too much, because oh god, that'd be funny. All right, so moving right along. The next thing I'd like to show you is the token for it. Dun 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 dun. Oh god, it's just funny. Mech Titan, 1010, all colors, flying, vigilance, trample, lifelink, haste. What's funny is this is a token, which means you can bloodthirst it for 1 black and kill it. So yeah, that's why I don't think it's gonna be a thing. It's way too easy to kill. Neat as heck, cool idea, love the thought. But hey, who knows? Anyway, this is going to be an amazing commander card. It's going to be lots of fun, along with any other shenanigan decks you want to play. Will it see standard play? I'm sure somebody's going to try, because I know I will, just for the giggles. Now, in limited, this could be just badonkers, because if you assemble Voltron, you're probably just going to kill somebody, because it has haste and lifelink and trample and flying and vigilance. Yeah, it's got, you know, Flample, Flample Haste Link Vig. Flample Viglink Haste. I don't know how to say it. Put down in the comments down below how you think we pronounce it. I know Flamples are always good. I love Flample, Flying Trample. Anyway, so there you have it, boys and girls. That sums it up. We end the day with Voltron being debuted from Kamigawa. Boy, if they could have done a Voltron with this, like they did with Godzilla, God, I'd have been all about that. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Remember, until next time, be kind. And as always, I hope to see you across from the game table.